Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome one and all to yet another episode. This is Alex, and I'm here with my father, Franco.
Yep, yeah.
And this is the Feliz Energy Podcast. In this particular episode, we are going to continue the discussion that we began on the previous episode when it comes to the subject of feminism.
Right.
And the previous episode was to establish compassion and to empathize with women who find themselves, or see themselves rather, as feminists or radical feminists even. We understand where they're coming from, why they feel the way that they do. And we established that at the core of it, it's because men have failed women. They cause pain and suffering to women because men have not earned the respect and the love that women naturally give a man who is living in his sovereignty.
And this living his truth.
Correct. Because when you're doing that, that man is bringing the best out in his woman and the women that he deals with, the women that he loves, the women in his life, his mother, his sister, friends, etc. Right? Now, in this episode, we are going to break down radical feminism to its bits because, as we also established in the previous episode, although we understand where feminism comes from, where it stems from, although it's well-intentioned, the road to hell is often paved with good intentions. And many people are being burned by these flames. And so we want to discuss how it is that we can heal this element of the feminine that is in so much pain right now in modern society.
Yeah, we most definitely will. And we're not saying that we're experts because we're not.
Absolutely not. We are not psychologists. We are just speaking from our life experience, from the conversations that we've had with other people, from those that we've listened to, people who are experts in these fields. Jordan Peterson, we mentioned in the previous episode. He's a clinical psychologist. We all have the right to our own opinions, our own perspectives, but the facts are the facts. We do not have the right to our own facts. And that's what we're here to discuss. We're here to bring awareness to these facts, awareness to the truth, so that we can improve ourselves, so that we can get out of the challenges that we see and that we face in today's society.
And that's what life is all about, right? I mean, there's a reason why there are books by David Data, like The Way of the Superior Man, The 3% Man.
By Corey Wayne.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why these exist. It's because men have lost their essence.
They've lost their way
as men. So women have had to take their place in society, yet empowering them and making them feel, like we said in our last episode, that they don't need a man. But the truth of the matter is that they do.
And whether they want to accept it or not, whether they realize it or not, they live in a society built by who?
By men.
Absolutely.
There is no doubt about that. And when you see homosexual partners or, women and women, men and men, there's very clear who is the female or who plays the female part and who plays the male part.
Right. There's a clear distinction, like you were saying.
There has to be polarity.
Absolutely.
There has to be. It's impossible to have polarity with two male dominant beings. Impossible. It can't happen. It will never happen.
There's always a balance of masculine energy and feminine energy, or in other words, dominant and submissive energy.
Well, let's talk about those terms like top and bottom that are used in the LGBT community. Who is the top? You may not like it, but the top is the masculine and the bottom is the feminine.
Correct.
Now, if I'm wrong, please call me. Please let me know. Write it in our comments. You can come and say, well, it could be both. No, it's not. You guys say that for a reason.
Just a fact.
These are facts.
It's a statistic, and that's all we're going to get into. We're only going to discuss things as they are.
Right.
It's as simple as that. And although we see a lot of homosexual partnerships and couples, we have undoubtedly seen an increase in homosexual couples in today's modern society.
Oh, yeah.
And although there's nothing wrong with that, not in the least, we see this increase because men have lost their way. And as a byproduct, women have lost their way. women don't trust men. Women feel immense distrust in men because of the men that have been in their lives. The men in their lives have caused them much pain and suffering, and they do not trust a man to protect them, to love them. So they seek this protection. They seek this love in another woman that displays more masculine qualities, right? And although that's the case, you cannot compare a masculine woman to a man living in his sovereignty. You will not have the same effect. That's just not going to happen.
It's just impossible. It's impossible. You know, I always say, and I've always thought that one of the reasons we're where we are right now in 2021 is because of the way that we've been raised, what we've learned and what we've seen as children. You know, we've seen men being wishy-washy. We've seen men, you know, going to jail for doing the wrong things, and seen plenty of moms that are single moms. I mean, that's just something that's part of our culture. Men are not doing what they're supposed to do. They're just not. And we have to find a way to turn this around.
Absolutely.
And one of the things, and one of the books that I definitely recommend for men and women to listen to is The Way of the Superior Man.
Right. And you would think, you know, why should a woman be interested in reading that kind of book if it's made for men, by a man?
I'll give you the answer to that. It is very simple. The reason women need to listen to it is so they can know what to look for in a man.
I couldn't have said it better. You have to set the standard. And when you know what to look for, you know what you will not accept.
That is right. That is right. The other book that I recommend is A 3% Man, or The 3% Man by Corey Wayne. This book is amazing. It's amazing. When I started listening to this book, there were so many things that I thought that I thought I knew that I did not. And again, that has a lot to do with society. I thought I was doing the right things. I thought I was, hey, I'm just being me. Guess what? I have become a whole nother man ever since I started listening to these books, because you learn, and that's what we're here to do, right? We're here to learn. We're here to grow.
Yes.
And if what you're learning, you're not putting into action, then what's the purpose, right?
Correct.
And I talk to you about those things all the time. We want to do the right things in order to move forward. And men have to find a way to become men again, to do the right things in order to get women to coincide side by side with them, not to follow them. Let's make sure that we understand that as well. Because a partnership is 50-50.
It's completely reciprocal.
It's reciprocal.
Across all successful relationships.
There is no doubt about that. Now, is there one that loves the other more? 55-45? More than likely. More than likely there is, whether it's the man that loves a woman more or the woman that loves a man more. That being said, men need to step up to the plate. Men need to step up to the plate. We have no choice. If we don't do that, we're going places where we don't want to go.
Correct. And men are the ones meant to lead by example. If we're not taking responsibility, if we're not being accountable for ourselves, we cannot provide that example to the woman that we're dealing with. We simply can't. Woman is byproduct of man.
Yes.
That's just the way that it is.
I mean, from the beginning of time, if God wanted things to be the way they are today, he would have made Adam and Stan.
Correct.
Not Adam and Eve. It would have been Steve.
Right. Adam and Steve.
I mean,
right.
For real. Let's keep that real. It would have been Adam and Steve.
Right. Yeah.
Let's make sure that we understand. You know, let's go back to the book, right? And there's nothing wrong. Again, we're having a partner of the same sex. There isn't. Not at all. We're not here saying that. We're just here to say and to understand why women are so adamant about their position.
Right. And why they feel they don't need men in their lives. Right. I mean, there are women who feel that, I mean, they don't need men for anything, you know, and I find that so funny, because the only reason that certain women that identify as radical feminist women.
Right.
The only reason that they have the freedom to do that is because they live in a society that allows them to have the leeway to think that way. You know, they buy their groceries, they drink the water from the municipal water system. These systems are created by who? By men.
I mean, almost every structure
Yes.
that we live in today or that we actually use is made by men.
Why? I mean, a plethora of reasons. Biologically, men have the strength. They have the mental capabilities to design these systems, to dedicate all of their strength, all of their effort, all of their mental capacity to develop these systems. And
now, we're not saying that women don't have the capacity. So please don't misconstrue what we're saying here, because we know by far that women, in my mindset or perspective anyway, are definitely way more intelligent than men. But there is a part of men that enables them to be able to create things that are useful on a day-to-day basis by everyone, not just by men. Buildings, roads, name it. We can go on for days. But most great inventions that are used today were made by men. And these are facts, whether you like it or not. And all of these inventions that have been created are used by women.
Think about it. Panties, pantyhoses. Who invented those? Men did. Why? For the comfort of women.
Makeup.
A man's invention.
Now, this is facts. Makeup was made for men.
Yes. A comfortable bed to sleep in, to make love in. All of these things are conscious inventions of men for the love of women. And so that's what has to be understood by women who identify as radical feminists. We must identify that men from the beginning have thought of creating a world that would be comfortable for the women that they love.
Yes.
It all comes from a space of love. When we start there, we can begin healing all of that pain and all of that trauma.
I believe that. I believe that 200%.
Right. Yeah. And so that's essentially what we want to help bring a little bit more awareness to.
And convey.
Absolutely. You know, we have plenty of resources that we can recommend. You know, Jordan Peterson discusses these topics at length. You know, you can look him up on Google, on YouTube, reading books like The Way of the Superior Man, The 3% Man. All of these books will help men not only take more responsibility and be accountable for how they can live their lives in a way that brings the best out in them and the best out in the women that they deal with, but it allows for women to acknowledge and respect and love men for the best of their qualities.
That's correct.
For the best of their elements.
And let me tell you something you will not regret listening or reading these books. You will not. Men or women. Men or women will not regret reading these books and listening to these books. We will continue and we'll finish this episode at this moment. But we look forward to your comments and we look forward to everything that you have to say. And again, like I think Alex said in our past few episodes or the previous episodes, please feel free to leave comments and things that you guys want us to talk about.
All right, Feliz family. We'll wrap it up for now. And until next time.
Always remember, if you don't live to serve, then you don't deserve to live.